folks. Welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker, coming off a huge week of short track racing. Thursday, Friday, Saturday last week. I want to thank the show's sponsors, and we're going to get right into it as we had Thursday and Saturday at the La Crosse Speedway. Let's take you back to Thursday night, NASCAR late model racing, and it was interesting to see all the drivers we had out and all the racing we had. And this is going to be Thursday night's race, where things got kind of interesting for a little while with about 3 or 4 cars, as Brad Powell has found so much success this year running that red 23. That's his backup car. And I ask him every night that he gets a win or gets a top 3 or a 5 in that car if he's going to stay in it. And he said, well, as long as she wants to run like that, she's going to. Had a nice battle there with Mike Kenneke trying to chase down Powell. You see Cole Howland in the number 1 car. Had a nice run as well in the top 3 finish, and he just couldn't get enough bite in and to try to catch Kenneke. That bumper to bumper right down to the checkered flag. Kenneke Thursday night was your point leader, and of course things changed throughout the weekend. Now we do have to show you a spin that we had in the late models, which occurred up into turns 3 and 4. Let's show you that with rookie Jack Lichheim, as Lichheim's had a pretty good run so far this year. It was Matt Henderson. You see Armageddon Adam Degenhardt right there, and a little bit of a spin as, well, going around was Jack Lichheim, the rookie. And no harm done to really anybody. Everybody was on the brakes pretty good. Henderson did cut down a tire and didn't get a chance to come in and complete the race. So tough break for Matt Henderson. Now we're going to fast forward to Saturday night. And another interesting race right here. It was kind of neat to see that your 2 point leaders were Steve Carlson and Mike Kenneke. Neither of them got wins on Thursday, Saturday. Randy Humfeld, man, is he coming on strong on that 06 car. And he may be one to watch there as Jack Lichheim's Rookie of the Year point lead is slowly dwindling. Way out in front, though, you don't really see it in the camera shot. That's going to be Todd Korish. Korish came back out and had a fantastic run. And well, he's got the broken hand, too, so he's had to take a couple of weeks off with that hand. I know his job got in the way somewhat of one of his races, and he came back out, and he was really, really strong. As you see Brad Powell again and Mike Kenneke finishing up there, of course, passing the finish line. So after all that late model racing, Steve Carlson now has just a few point lead over Mike Kenneke. Let's jump into the Sportsmans. They ran Thursday, Saturday. What a tough weekend for Nick Clements. You're going to see it here in just a moment as we show you the last couple of laps of Thursday night's feature, and how Nick Clements didn't go over a wall is anybody's guess. The point standings there also got shaken up this weekend. Let's show you the last 2 of feature race number 1 from Thursday night. It was a good race. It was nose to tail, 5 cars. Tony Lease was out in front. Never really did find out. I think it was a drive shaft. You're going to see he's going to have a problem here. This is the last lap, folks. They're heading into turn 3. If you look at the back of the Tony Lease's 07, you'll see just a bit of a spark right about there. He just slows to a crawl, and here comes the field. Well, that's going to be the next lap, as a matter of fact it is. Here was the white flag. Right now, it's pretty much anybody's guess. Greg Scheck and Steve Bachman. You see Nick Clements right there on the fastest lemonade stand on wheels. And then you've got Brian Hesselberg. So right here in the corners, Lease looks like he's going to win the feature. Something breaks right about there. He slows down, and here we go. Scheck gets around. Clements gets around. Bachman gets into the back end. Look at him ride that wall. Greg Scheck will pick up the feature way, but let's show you that wreck in slow time from a different camera angle, and you're going to be amazed to watch how he runs that rail. And we're talking a rail just like this against the wall. So you saw the sparks right there. I think that was Tony Lease's drive train, or drive shaft, had busted off. Then Scheck finally gets clearance. Clements is going to make a mad dash, but Bachman was right there. And watch this. I thought he was going over. Rode the complete rail, and those guys were in the shop working on that thing. I saw pictures up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. We'll show it to you one more time. From this camera angle, Tony Lease again breaks. Scheck just avoids getting into his back end. As Clements, we thought we were going to have a 2-car shootout to the top spot. It didn't end up like that. Greg Scheck gets the win. So we're going to fast forward to Saturday night. And for Nick Clements, battered and bruised, well, he got into another one. And we're going to show you the last two of that feature event, which was Jamie Dummer's night. Of course, Jamie's had a couple of melees so far this year. He had the one race where he wrecked and came back out looking like a skeleton car with no body panels on there whatsoever. So you see Dummer, and it was Dr. Noise, Billy Martin, Greg Scheck in there again. That is why, folks, to this day, well, Greg Scheck's your current point leader. He had it by about, I think it was just low double figures for Greg Scheck over Steve Bachman. Another nice nose-to-tail finish right there. Billy Noyes up on the back wall, and that kind of slipped him up. Scheck tried to find an opening. Couldn't get it, but Dr. Noyes again with Jake Arneson helping him out this year in Arneson's old car. Well, he's going to power him to a top 3 finish as Dummer takes the checkers. Now we're going to show you what else happened that night, and this was up in turns 1 and 2. And this was a huge, oh, here we go moment. I thought half the field was going to be gone. As you're going to find out, there was Mandy Eckelberg in the front row, along with Jimmy Gilster. Just watch this. I'm not going to say a word. There it is, 8, 9 cars, 6 wide. Oh, everybody trying to find holes to get out of that. And believe it or not, we only lost a couple of cars. Gilster backing down right there. Clements got battered up again, but he did come back to finish the race. So those were sportsmen. Let's go to the Thunder Stocks, where you would think that much excitement happens on the Action Track quarter mile. Well, not really. Here was Thursday night's race, and Jordan Myers, who just keeps to find different parts of the track to get faster and faster, has had some great races. Look at the top 3 right there, as you've got Jordan Myers, Andy Moore, and Jason Bolster. Bolster's going to find himself a very victorious holiday weekend, as here comes the white flag for Myers. Andy Moore right behind. Bolster trying to make a late race charge. Cotton Candy Kid Kayla Steinhoff got a heat race win this weekend. Was mighty happy with her car as well after breaking an axle during this race. But nose to tail, we're going to finish. Jordan Myers passes the stripe first, and Myers will get the win. Let's go to Saturday night's Thunderstock racing. And again, we were talking how victorious Jason Bolster was over the weekend. He gets a top 3 right there. Had a couple of rough weekends leading up to it with about 3 or 4 black flags. Had a real good weekend. Let's show you what happened on Saturday night, as Jason Bolster is going to run out real strong on this one to make sure nobody can catch him. There he is already into turn 4 as everybody else was coming around the corners. Going to run for J.R. Turtline, had a cut tire that weekend. David Cavan came back out. Jason Schaller had a great run as the white flag flies. Kayla Steinhoff battling Dakota Miller, who's been back out for back-to-back weeks in that 0-8 in memory of his brother Caleb. So Bolster just has to get past Ron White, checkered flag, and Bolster your feature race winner. So that was Thursday and Saturday. When we come back from this break, we've got some more video to show you from the Street Stocks and the Outlaws. One of our guests in the program had a good run this weekend. We'll talk about that next on 7 Rivers Racing.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modified.
600 mods.
Pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
For a limited time, save over $600 on select American Standard systems. Call now for details.
Holman American Legion, Post 284. It's all about veterans' rights, quality of life. The Legion belongs to the veterans it serves. The American Legion supports Holman High School sports and local NASCAR racing. Did you know the Legion is open to the public? Stop by for a cold one. Tuesday lunch is a home-cooked meal. Supper is Buck Burgers. Thursday, it's tacos. They can be the place for your wedding reception or meeting. Holman American Legion. It's for veterans and for the people of Holman.
At Cousin Subs, we never settle for good. We always strive for better. Since 1972, we've been creating our signature Deli Fresh subs. We start with fresh bread that's baked every day. Then we freshly chop vegetables and slice the meat daily. It's how we do it, and always have. Why? Because you deserve better.
We're back, Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker. Thanks for joining us. We're going to jump right back into our Crosse Speedway recap since we raced Thursday and Saturday. And we're going to start things off. Well, he's my guest in the program. We're going to bring him in here in just a couple of moments. But where we left off was a Thursday night street stock, and this was the largest class of cars we had at the Speedway here in 2014. And that man right there, the 57, John the Madman Eron, came into the night undefeated. Never had lost qualifying, never had lost a heat race, never had lost a feature. Well, he lost the heat race, but he came back with a vengeance. And you see J.R. Turtle out there. Now, Turtle's the one that beat him during the heat race in that 35. First time he's had that six-cylinder out. Eron said, nope, not going to happen this time, brother. I want to take home the feature. So as you watch him head down the back straightaway, John Eron still undefeated on the year when it comes to qualifying and feature races, and he's our guest in the program today. We're going to bring him in here in a couple of moments, but I think J.R. Turtle may be bringing something to the dance floor, and he's going to have something for that street stock class. We had 16 of them on Saturday night. Let's jump to the Hornets Thursday night, and you know we told you as we run the video earlier this year, Dan Rosick and John Radke, they combined forces. They went from Radke Racing to R&R Racing. John Radke's been running at Toma. Dan Rosick's been running at La Crosse, and man, he has been on fire in that Honda down right there with that number 7 as he pulls up behind Taylor Dobbs trying to lap the field. And that man's going to be the hard one to stop. He's your current point leader with the Ants Complete Pest Control Hornets. And they go 3 wide. Rosick says, nope, no problem. I'm in, I'm around, and I'm gone. And that is, I think, Rosick's second feature win of the race season. That's the man that everyone's going to be gunning for, like the Bornitzes and the Towners and Thompsons and the Linehans. That's going to be it. So that was enough of Thursday night racing. We're going to go back to Saturday night, and we had 4 outlaws. What a show this was with just 4 of them. They were all awfully strong. We saw the return of Go-Go Johnny Olson. He was running Jared Logging's championship car from last year. There you see Johnny O. He was your quick time qualifier. First time he's been on that track in 2 years. Of course, set the track record 4 years in a row. And the outlaws, but the night belonged to Fat Phyllis. That is Cole Shozy, and he says it's a 1974 whatever. Seriously, it's even on his hot shot cards. Well, he ran everybody down here tonight. He and Wayne Smith had gotten locked together earlier tonight, bumper to bumper, and Johnny O was able to get around him and get a heat race win, but Shozy comes back and gets the feature. So that's going to round out. Also want to mention that Charles Vian Jr., he ended up winning the figure 8 Saturday night. Coming up this week, you need to hit Festival Foods. It's 2-for-1 Buddy Night this Saturday night. We expect a huge crowd, but you got to go to Festival to get those coupons. 2 people in for the price of 1. And again, we're going to have late model sportsmen, Thunderstruck Outlaws, and the return of one of my favorite groups of drivers, the vintage cars. You only usually see them at Oktoberfest at the La Crosse Speedway. Well, Moldy and Kenny Hutchins, all those guys are going to bring the oldies out, and they're going to be racing on Saturday night. Check out lacrossespeedway.com for more information. Recap of the Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Fountain City. The 6th annual River City Rumble took place last Friday night. 2,000 people, biggest crowd I've ever seen there at that MTS, and a lot of money. Over a $30,000 purse was given out. Your winners, Rodney Sanders out of Happy, Texas. He won the USRA Modifieds. Corey Krampster wins the B mods. It was Kurt Lumen in the 600 mod class. Street stocks went to, or super stocks I should say, went to John Duffy. He won at Deer Creek and Mississippi Thunder back-to-back weekends. Danny Richards wins the street stocks. The A mods, the mini mods went to Zach Brom. Braden Brower wins the mini B mods. Coming up this Friday night at Mississippi Thunder, you got to go, folks. We've got a full slate of drivers coming up, full slate of classes. $5 to get in. It's Fan Appreciation Night. Children under 17 are free. If you're an adult, $5. Get a couple of those good mushroom and Swiss up there. Check out MississippiThunder.com for more information. Let's bring our guest into the program. You just watched his video just a couple of moments ago. Gotten to know him really well over the past, I'd say, 4 or 5 years. Drives the ugliest Hornet out there, the number 57, but man, the looks are deceiving when it comes to that Hornet car. And he's also the undefeated featured driver for the Street Stocks. John the Madman Eron, good to have you in, brother.
Yeah, good to be in. Thanks, Dan.
Wow, you're really stepping up the old racing program now, running the Hornets you've had forever, as long as I've been there, and then into the street stock class this year.
Yeah, I just decided kind of at the last minute. I happened to have a car sitting around, and I'd throw it together, and you know, I'm as surprised as anybody, you know, and just slid right in, and it's been a really good year for me, so.
And now you got guys gunning for you, because I knew J.R. Turtelot was going to bring out the, he was talking about building a 6-cylinder a couple weeks ago. Brought it out and slapped some racing tires and rims on the back of that, and he kind of stunned you there during the heat race.
Yeah, I kind of got caught up in traffic. I've been a little used to, you know, being able to work my way up there slowly, and, you know, I started out and, you know, there was traffic in front of me, and I'm watching the laps count down, and I'm like, oh no, I know what's happening here, you know, and I didn't get the opportunity to break free of traffic and run him down. He is faster in a straight line. I see him pull me off the corners all the time, but if he ever gets that thing dialed in, yeah, I think he'll be a little hard to beat, you know.
Well, I tell you, folks, that has turned into a fantastic street stock class. We started with 5 or 6. Went to 10. I think we had 14 to 16 on Saturday night. I could really see that thing get upwards of about 20 here by the end of the race season. I'm sure you'd like to see that class stay around, you know, 15 to 20.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's, you know, it's a little more relaxed and a little more comfortable when there's not, you know, 60 people out there gunning for the top spots. And when you get too few, then it's, you know, it's kind of like, well, I mean, is anybody else going to show up, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, you know, 15 to 20 is a good number.
Well, we're going to come back and talk more with John the Madman Eron. He's got identical 57s of the racetrack. He's been running Hornets out there for quite a long time, and he has got his street stock, the 6-cylinder street stock out there as well. We're going to talk more about his racing program on the other side of this break from some of our fantastic sponsors. Some have been here all 4 years. We've had the racing show on the TV, and we'll be back to talk more next on 7 Rivers Racing.
We're here when the sun rises. And when the bread rises too. And we're here slicing it deli fresh every day. And every morning, we're chopping it all up. Why do we put so much effort into making it fresh? Because you deserve better.
Holman American Legion Post 284. It's all about veterans' rights, quality of life. The Legion belongs to the veterans it serves. The American Legion supports Holman High School sports and local NASCAR racing. Did you know the Legion is open to the public? Stop by for a cold one. Tuesday lunch is a home-cooked meal. Supper is Buck Burgers. Thursday, it's tacos. They can be the place for your wedding reception or meeting. Holman American Legion. It's for veterans and for the people of Holman.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
For a limited time, save over $600 on select American Standard systems. Call now for details.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modifieds,
600 mods.
pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
We're back, folks. One more time, it's 7 Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyke. I want to thank you for joining us each and every weekend, and a lot of racing coming up again. Remember La Crosse Speedway this weekend? It's 2 for 1. go to Festival Foods, find the 2-for-1 Buddy coupons, and let's load the La Crosse Speedway. Friday night at the dirt track, Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Fountain City, $5 general admission, under 17 is free. One of my drivers at the La Crosse Speedway off for the next couple of weeks, get to spend some good family time during this July portion of the summer, a very cool July summer, is the Madman John Eron. And let's talk real quickly about the Hornet class before we jump back into the street stock class. What encouraged you to get into racing? Because then you took a year off and got back in again.
Well, originally when I went to tech school in the 90s, I was hanging out with a good buddy of mine who's now my crew chief, Steve Brazda. It's SBR Racing, York, Wisconsin. And we used to sit and play this video game, and he always said, you know, one of these days we should do this for real. You know, they have a track right up the way, you know, and he put all these ideas in my head, and at the time they kind of didn't really stick. But then he came out in 99 or 2000 or whatever, and you know, I just figured, well, I'll put together a car. There's a 4-cylinder class. I got a Mustang body and so on and so forth. And my first year, I finished 10th out of 132 or so, you know, with a natural aspirated, carbureted Mustang that I knew nothing about. I mean, I basically came out with stock tire pressures and whatever. And then it was the next year I went turbo. And I got my first win August 2nd, 2002. And a little while after that, he's like, you know, maybe I could help you out. And he was always the type of guy who would study something and figure it out. And he's just insane with setup now. He has learned so much. We can throw 4 new tires in the car and 4 new pressures, and the thing will handle great. As a matter of fact, he gave me the pressures and the setup for the street stock car, you know, when I came out the first time. And I mean, we're not very far from there now. So then I pursued the Hornets for quite a while, and you know, I love it. It's a lot of fun to drive the Mustang. It's you know, definitely loose whenever you're on the gas.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just a wild ride. And then I finished 3rd one year, so I wound up taking the next year off. You know, you got to sit it out. And they didn't really, I mean, I had a T-stock, but I didn't have the time or money to invest in a full season or whatever. That's kind of one of the appealing things about like Hornets and street stock. It's not really, you know, 20 weeks straight.
Right,
you know,
right. Dumping everything you have into
mortgaging your house to, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, so, you know, and then I had other times, like when I lived up north in St. Germain, it's 4 hours one way, and I still came to West Salem and raced because I love it there, and I love the people, most of them, and, you know, the track's great, and the officials are wonderful, so it's kind of like a second home. But, yeah, and then, you know, I just, you know, I'm kind of hooked. I don't think I could give it up. I mean, it's one of those things.
There's a lot of people that have told me that have been here at the La Crosse Speedway for years and years, and whether they started in the Hornets and they're in a late model right now or whatever the case may be, they just can't shake that racetrack. So, you've been in a Hornet. Here we are 12 years later. You're into a 6-cylinder street stock, and Jesse's going to roll that video of your race from this past weekend. And, of course, J.R. Turtelot had a lot to say about your heat race, but kind of talk about this car while we're watching it here.
Well, you know, it's really about as bone stock as it gets. I mean, I got a set of wheels on there that, you know, look like there's a little offset, but they're still factory. It's factory tire size. The car was a total wreck, a total heap when I got it. It was slated for recycling, basically, and it happened to go forward and have all the gears and brakes. It had all the brakes at that time, but lost one of the backs since then. You know, the struts were shot. I mean, the front tires, when you come into turn 3 the first night out, you know, you'd touch the brakes and you hear this because the tires are just bouncing away.
I have a Grand Prix at home that does that right now.
Yep. Yeah, with the wiring harness gone, you could see the left front wheel like just literally flopping around in there like crazy.
So with that car, that's not set up. I mean, a Hornet car, you build it to race.
Yeah.
Thunderstock, Sportsman, label, you build them to race. What racing-wise have you put in that car?
There's a tiny bit of camber to the front wheels, and then I had to readjust the alignment to because whenever you do that, you have to readjust everything.
Right.
By eye, as a matter of fact. I do all my alignment by eye, and that's it. I mean, other than the tires and wheels that are on it, I stripped out the interior. I mean, it's the easiest class in the world to run. You're not even required most of the safety equipment that other race cars have, but I put a roll bar in it to be safe, and
Sure.
I have my 4-point harness in it and a big old door plate, even though I've hardly even put a dent on it so far. It's good to have those things, but literally that's it. I mean, it is. I could put the windows back in it and reattach the ends of the harness and drive it on the street again. It's literally, I mean, it's as close to a street car as you can get, hence street stock,
And see, he just gave you clues, folks. If you have a 6-cylinder out there in your backyard, your neighbor's going to take one to the junkyard. Before you do that, look at this class. Now, if memory serves me correctly, call the racetrack, because I think the only big rule right now is the wheelbase.
I've heard that off and on, but as far as I've seen, I haven't seen anything on wheelbase yet.
And of course, I mean, it's also the first year, so it's not like the racetrack's going to give you a rule book that's 15 pages long right off the bat. They're going to try to bring in what they can and then size up the field to see what kind of cars they have. Even had a minivan that did a nice job this past weekend.
Yeah.
And then kind of go from there, and you're one of the lucky dogs that you're one of those that's helping institute that class.
Yeah. I think Chuck's exact words were 6 cylinders and 4 tires were the rules to show up with. And then after that, we're kind of building it, building the class and building the rule book from there. So, I mean, it's pretty much, unless you're doing something blatant to,
Right.
You got late model tires on it or something, you pretty much can show up with whatever you want right now and run like crazy, and I'm welcoming the competition. So,
well, before we let you go on the program, let's talk about some. I know you're on a limited sponsorship this year, but you've got some folks you like to thank.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to thank Black River Auto Repair for the help they've given me over the years, and Triple T, SBR Racing from York, Wisconsin, Steve Brozda. I wouldn't be anywhere where I am if it weren't for him. I learned pretty much everything I know about car building, and the tires that are on my car came from him, and half the wheels, and and my family too. I mean, they have been in great support of me the whole time. There were some harder times in the beginning of the year and through the middle of it, and they've just been encouraging me like crazy to stick with it and go where I want to, and do what I can, and so they they're probably my biggest support right now. Outside of that, I am looking for sponsorship. You can find me at John Eron on Facebook. The last name is spelled E-R-O-N. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what kind of contact information I should be giving out.
That's good enough. He is on Facebook. He's on quite a bit because we chat back and forth. And another driver, folks, he's got a street stock, and he's got the Hornets. So there's some sponsorship opportunities out there if you'd like to get hold of the number 57. John, appreciate you coming to the program.
Yeah, thanks. I do have a late model, by the way, too.
Oh,
about $7,000 short.
Watch this. And he on my radio show, AM 580 WKTY, the Race Report from 1 and 2 Saturdays. Good plug. He did state last week that he's surprised that Steve has not been snatched up by a late model outfit yet, so let's keep him under wraps. All right, it's John, the Madman Eron. I want to thank you for coming on the program. Again, thank all the sponsors and you guys for watching us each and every week. Also, check out the program on YouTube. It's under 7 Rivers Racing. Jesse, our producer, puts it up after the show is aired on TV, and you can watch it to your heart's content on YouTube. That's going to do it for the program. We'll see you coming out. $5 admission at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway Friday night. Buddy night, 2 for 1 at the Crosse Speedway. We'll be out both nights to help support short track racing in Western Wisconsin. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Dyker. This has been 7 Rivers Racing.